We need to get more and more Kenyan companies accepting that actually this is one way of directly putting money into conservation.
When I came now, I saw the Rhino Charge people, and they were like, we are just conserving the forest. This is something I've wanted to do all these years, and I think I've gotten a way of doing something.
I had a very bad accident. Then I was thrown out of the car. Then the car came and rolled on top of me.
How can this be synonymous with conservation? You know, these cars driving through the bush are damaging the environment. After the first rains, after a rhino charge, it's almost impossible to know that there was a rhino charge there.
The Rhino Charge is an off-road rally event on a trackless terrain where the winners do not receive any prize money. Instead, they are racing against time to raise funds for the Rhino Ark, a charitable trust in Kenya championing conservation of Kenya's forests, also known as the water towers.
We all come from these areas, you know. We're preserving our country, we're preserving water. You know, we're trying to preserve the rivers and everything. So actually, it makes a lot of sense in raising money towards this.
Why are the rivers drying up? People are cutting trees. Why don't we consult? Why don't we not stop this? That to me, it was destruction, right? Then when I came now, I saw the Rhino Charge people, and they were like, we are just conserving the forest. I was like, this is something I've wanted to do all these years. And I think I've gotten a way of doing something.
It's all about commitment, but it's also about fun. For this event to be continued the way it is, for all those organizers to organize the Rhino Charge on a voluntary basis, it has to be fun. The Rhino Charge has to be a fun event for conservation.
All vehicles competing in the race have to go through scrutineering, a process where they are checked to see if they meet all the race requirements. The competitors then have to wait for a brief from the race organizers, which is scheduled for 5 p.m. in the evening. During this brief, the officials outline the modalities concerning the race and all the safety measures that both racers and spectators alike should take in case of distress.
Welcome to Aleppo, Rhino Charge 2015. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves so far. There are elephants on this venue. Okay, quite a few big ones. I'm sure some of you have come across one or two in your camps. Please do not go too far from your car, otherwise you might get chased. Basically, the procedure you need to follow in the emergency situation, the medical situation, is you must press your panic button twice, and what we will do then is we will then send the aircraft to your location and we will check what flag you've put out. If you have put out your medical flag, immediately the chopper will be mobilized, okay? So if you've got a thorn in your foot, please don't put out the medical flag, okay?
If you want to prevent any tick bites, there are not that many as I had thought, but a duct tape wrapped around your ankles or even your arms if you're going to be going in shorts, but inside out, so the sticky part is outside and they will not crawl all over you, and whatever is below that, we can pick them out. Scorpions, they're not going to be out there looking for you, but the most of them, or the dangerous part is your toilets and whatever. So please guys, look before you sit.
After the brief, the teams are given a contours map of the area with GPS coordinates of all the 13 checkpoints that they have to circuit. Now the team's navigators have to map out the shortest distance using which they can circuit all the 13 checkpoints.
You cannot say you are starting from this particular point until you get the map. From that, we sit down now as a team on our tent, plot the points and the route we are going to take.
In theory, the race is won by finding the shortest distance on the contours map, and this is where the adrenaline rush begins. Anthony is John's navigator. He is a trained aeronautical engineer and designer. The team's chances of winning the race rest solely on him and his colleague, especially on their ability to map out the shortest distance possible through the 13 checkpoints, a task that is extremely difficult.
This is a big part of the competition. All these people have come here and they depend on the two of us. If we mess up, that's it.
Back at Peter's camp, all the gadgets have been pulled out.
We have GPSs and we've actually purchased something called bird's eye satellite imagery. So what we did, because we had a bit of an idea where Rhino Charge was going to be, we did what you call cache, a large terrain of satellite imagery, so that when we are plotting, we're able to see the points on an actual satellite map and make better decisions on which routes to take. So that's what we've been plugging into the computer.
There and then here. This is the trick. The whole trick is here, there, which is pretty easy.
What our navigator Tommy has done over here is he has plotted the points on the map here that we're going to take in the car tomorrow, and then we also transfer the data onto our GPS as well. And it's really important to have the paper map as well as the GPS, because that shows us all the mountains around, and it shows us the rivers, and it shows us the contours. It doesn't show us the wild animals. We're told there are elephants out there.
Because you're taking yourself around this mountain. So you run that.
So the issue is this: trying to make a decision what checkpoint to go from the other, while being cognizant of the fact that there could be a cliff that a car cannot go above.
Both teams work into the night and map out the respective routes for tomorrow's race. Out of a possible minimum 24 kilometers, John's team's shortest distance is 32 kilometers, while that of Peter's team is 27 kilometers.
Top 5, we are here to win.
Yes.
We are here to win. Not the top 1, 2, 3, or 5. We are here to win.
For sure, one way or another, we're going to be on stage receiving an award. I think for the first time in a long time, car is good. Our money raising has been fantastic. I think they've actually fixed all the weak points that there were for the car. All those issues are now resolved because they've really worked on it. So I think really there's no reason why they can't win.
My team, you know us, we are hard guys. We work in the construction industry, so we're ready for the task.
We are going to do very well. We have a very good team we've put together. We've built a car this year that will, I think we are going to do very well.
The competitors are assembled at the convergence point. The Rhino Charge is no ordinary rally where all racers are flagged off at one point, but rather, all the 65 competitors are scattered across various checkpoints. From there, each team has to decide which route they will take in order to ensure they circuit all the 13 checkpoints.
And then the vehicles are completely free in which direction they go, which checkpoints they visit. So there's no control in terms of which direction they're going. That's purely up to them. And those vehicles then have to traverse across all the terrain that is there. They must visit all of the checkpoints. Once they return to their start control, having visited all the others, then they have completed the Rhino Charge, and there is a time limit of 10 hours for them to complete that.
Both Peter and John are at their starting checkpoints. John and Peter, like most of the contestants, are anxious and counting down to the start of the race at 7:30 a.m. Let the race begin. This is what both John and Peter have been preparing for the whole year. While some take a cautious approach at the start, others drive off straight for the forest and are soon disappearing into the thick forest cover.
There are skeptics out there who think that how can this be synonymous with conservation? People think that, these cars driving through the bush are damaging the environment. We've had environmental impact assessments carried out where, 5 years of venues have been analysed, and it's shown that really after the first rains after a Rhino Charge, it's almost impossible to know that there was a Rhino Charge there.
John is trying to stick to his strategy of using the shortest route they had mapped out. On the other hand, Peter and his team are charging towards their first checkpoint. The rally is now on in full force, and the contestants are checking in at various checkpoints. When the competitors arrive at a checkpoint, they first hand in their GPS gadgets to the officials who record their coordinates and the time that they arrived at that particular checkpoint. While here, they receive refreshments from the organizers and also have time to attend to their vehicles. These checkpoints are also the only sections in the race in which the spectators can watch these vehicles in action.
Yeah, it's been tough. First couple of controls, very tough. Very, very thick bush. Some very deep korongos like this. But we're going okay. We've just come from Topo. We're heading to Craftsman, and then from Craftsman we go across to Brookhouse. So we got a way to go. This is number 5. We got another 9 to go. But we're going on well.
This team has been forced to retire early due to an electrical fault.
Yeah, stima ilipotea. Just wiring, something happened. We lost power.
Slowly. Then up slowly.
On the other side of the forest, John is checking in on his 10th checkpoint. He too has experienced some difficulties with his vehicle.
We broke our deep logs and then a shaft. Then we had to remove one, and then now we are running on three. On actually one. It's the terrain. The terrain we are passing today is not good.
Peter and his team have already had 2 tire punctures, and one of their spare tires, together with its rim, is completely written off.
I can see. We had too much gap there.
We made an assumption that our tires were constructed properly for this event, but they weren't. So what do we do?
They managed to fix it and are off to continue with the race.
So we've now got our engine fixed, we've got our sump back on.
Someone have a new t-shirt for
And it seems to be beautifully quiet, no knocking.
Yeah.
And so now we're ready to go. A biscuit, that's the key thing to have. Keep eating and drinking. Now we're off.
No guys in the car. Yeah. I do know. I don't trust any mechanic.
Driving through such a terrain has a clear impact on the cars. John has just arrived at another checkpoint. After signing in with his officials, he consults his navigator, and again they are off towards their next checkpoint. So far, John is doing extremely well despite his broken shaft. But he is very worried how long the shaft will hold, or if it will eventually force him out of the race. Although the Rhino Charge is an adventurous, serious, adrenaline-packed and fun event, it is also an extremely dangerous sport. Many of the contestants, especially the runners, usually get injured during the charge.
You hold this to your head for the minute. Okay.
All
right. Hold that on there.
HQ, this is Top, however.
Okay, we've diverted the Rivercross guys to come and look at car number 12 because it's still not
The organizers have just got wind of the fact that a contestant's vehicle has caught fire, and a rescue chopper has been dispatched to the scene.
We also need to alert the aircraft, I think.
Okay, that will do. HQ, did you also read that?
Yes, we had one car that burned completely. The drivers got out fast enough, but the co-driver, actually trying to get out of the car, burnt his right arm. So below the elbow, all the way down up to the fingers. But there were only 2-3 small areas where it was a 2nd-degree burn. The rest were all 1st degree. He was very lucky. There was no involvement of his air passages, nasal passages, and he was breathing fine. So as we talk, he's sitting at the local beer tent having his first beer.
Raju Singh, a former charger and a friend of team number 23, had a serious accident in a previous edition of the Rhino Charge.
In 2008 in Baringo, I had a very bad accident. We were doing very well, and we were going up the cliff. When I was going up, there was a rock that I went on top. So when I stopped, the rock had become loose. So the car flipped and started rolling. I rolled a couple of times, maybe 8 times. Then I was thrown out of the car, almost 50 meters. Then the car came and rolled on top of me. I think all sports are dangerous. People break their legs, people rallies, people have accidents. It's just that it's at that particular time it was just bad luck. There was an accident that happened. It should not discourage people.
We're just excited to finish, that's all.
The first couple of teams are finishing the race, and among them is John. He is delighted to be among the elite team to have completed the circuit.
Finished, then we went to tow Ian. He was stuck somewhere. So we finished and then we went back to the charge, trying to get Ian out. Hip, hip. Hooray! Hooray!
With just about an hour of the 10-hour time limit left, Team 23's troubles are not getting any easier. Peter and his team are all the more dejected because a fellow indigenous competitor, John, declined to lend them a spare tire. They are eventually forced to bow out of the race. Back at Team 23's camp, the mood is still subdued. Peter feels let down by one of the people he expected to help them.
But you know, you have a problem, you give. That's what it's about. 6 years ago, we got the Victor Durham Award because we gave away a bonnet in the morning and we stopped charging. We sat there the whole day for the bonnets to be brought to us at 4 p.m. We never made an issue about it.
It is a competition we are racing at the end of the day. Yo? Wewe nikupatia alafu mimi nibaki msituni wewe uende nyumbani. Is that what you're telling? If we help, we won't finish. Umeelewa? We don't come here not to finish the race.
If you have 2 spares, give one. We would do the same thing.
2 years ago, I gave them a tire like this one. It disappears up to today with the rim. Tire nzima. I lost 200,000 shillings worth of a tire with him.
Well, that's water under the bridge. I won't even answer it.
He has always been having that. That is his permanent problem. Always. Not today. I gave him a tire like this one, complete with the rim, as a friend.
He did not give it to me. He gave me the tire to retrieve someone else's car. And that competitor later gave it to him.
4 years ago, I rescued him again. Kwa mulima, nyoka inamukula huko. Nikane kafunga engine kwa mulima. You know? All he gave me was 6,000 bob. And I was camping on a rented camp that I was paying 500,000 shillings a day. I mean, so I had to add another extra day staying. Because of him.
Yeah, I think we're getting into politics of sports, but the point we're making is that we come from the communities that we are fundraising from. And that is why we're saying we need to raise money as indigenous Kenyans, I'm sorry to put it that way, to try and create a situation where we preserve nature and what exists, and a coexistence between humans and wildlife. That is all we have come to do. So an issue of a tire.
Unajua yeye tulimkuta kwa hii kitu, kwa haya mashindano. Right? Is good. What I like about him, yeye ile pesa anataka tu ni mingi. That's what I can tell you for sure, for a fact. Ile pesa anataka tu ni mingi, and that's what we are here for. Lakini in terms of ile mpangilio kujipanga, it is 0. I will give him a 0. Not even a 1. Kwa pande ya kuchangisha pesa na nini and commitment to the event is very good. Lakini kuprepare gari.
I think we learn with every competition that you may think you're prepared, but there's something you forgot. So I think that's the lesson. There's a proverb: if you want to hear God laughing, make some plans.
It is the morning after the race. As a climax to the event, both racers and spectators converge here for the award ceremony. This is where the organizers announce the winners of the Rhino Charge and also the team with the highest amount of funds raised. The much anticipated winner of the Rhino Charge rally will unfortunately have to be announced later because the computers that tabulate the GPS results have crashed. The organizers now have to physically piece each of the 65 vehicles' satellite trackings individually so as to determine the winner. But in the fundraising category, Peter Kinywa's team wins.
Second highest cash sponsorship is car 23. Peter Kinywa, John Macharia, Robert Kariuki, Tommy Hellestadt, Tom Morton, and Moses Nyaga. They've raised an amazing 5,620,000 shillings.
They are the team with the second highest amount of funds raised. It is a soothing consolation despite not having finished the race. The team with the highest amount of funds raised is yet again Alan McKittrick, together with his 5 teammates.
You guys have gone out and done another miracle. And we have raised a phenomenal 108,617,802 shillings. Guys, this is the highest ever fundraise and amazing. And thank you to all of you, because it's not easy to go out there and raise that money, but it shows that you really believe in what we're all trying to achieve all together. And this is testament to what you guys have done. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. And guys, look forward to seeing you at 2016. And the final results will be out soon. And then you'll all be able to tease each other. So let's see you next year. Thank you once again. God bless, guys.
After tallying the results manually, the organizers reveal weeks later that car number 48, led by Mark Glenn, a Kenyan of English descent, is the eventual winner of the challenge. John pulls in at position 35, and Peter, despite not having finished the race, comes in at number 51. Only 41 vehicles completed the course.
Well, over years we've grown in raising this money, but the first thing we do is we make sure that we never ask for any money towards a team. So anyone giving us anything must be a check or payment directly to Rhino Ark Charitable Trust.
Kenya, we've come along with him. Kenya, the way I told you, in fundraising is a very good person, and I still need to learn a lot from Kenya, and we also need to learn a lot from us.
We need to get more and more Kenyan companies accepting that actually this is one way of directly putting money into conservation.
Go out there and do something. Don't just sit. What can you do? You know? Go out there and do something. Yeah, not necessarily what you're going to be paid. No. Yeah, it's something that, you know. So long as we got Mount Kenya to do and we got other forests to do, I will still continue being in Rhino Charge.